All right, ready to explore an awesome opportunity. We're diving deep today into something called the Ontario's Express Entry French-speaking skilled worker stream.
It's kind of a mouthful, right?
Maybe a little, but trust me, it's worth unpacking.
It really is, especially if you're a young, ambitious person in Africa looking for, greener pastures.
Exactly. We're talking about a potential pathway to work and maybe even settle permanently in Canada.
And we're not just speculating here, we're going straight to the source, the official ontario.ca page dedicated to this program.
So buckle up, because we're about to break it all down.
Think of it as your VIP guide to this incredible opportunity.
Love it. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is this program all about?
Well, it's part of the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program.
OINP.
Yep. OINP for short. And basically, it allows Ontario to nominate people for permanent residence in Canada.
So it's like Ontario gets to handpick individuals they believe will thrive in their province.
Exactly. They're looking for people who will contribute their skills and energy to the community.
It's not just about what Ontario can offer you.
Right. It's also about what you can bring to Ontario.
I love that. It feels like a real partnership.
And to add another layer, this particular stream falls under the Express Entry System,
Which is managed by.
Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, or, you guessed it, IRCC.
Acronyms galore. But what does that mean in practical terms?
It means that for those who qualify, things can move pretty quickly.
Okay, speed is always a good thing when it comes to immigration. Now, who exactly is this stream designed for?
It's aimed at skilled workers who are fluent in, well, French.
Makes sense, given the name.
But there's a twist.
Yeah.
You need a good grasp of English, too.
So bilingualism is key.
Absolutely. Think of it as a double advantage in a multicultural country like Canada.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
So what's in it for those who get selected? What are the big wins?
Well, the chance to live and work permanently in Ontario is pretty huge.
Talk about a life-changing opportunity.
We're talking about access to a high quality of life, a robust economy with plenty of job opportunities, and a vibrant multicultural society that embraces diversity.
Sounds like the dream. But I bet there's some hoops to jump through, right?
Of course, there are specific eligibility requirements.
Like,
Well, first off, work experience.
how much are we talking?
At least 1 year of continuous paid full-time work experience, or the equivalent part-time.
Okay, so it's flexible in that sense.
And here's the best part. This experience can be gained in Canada or overseas.
So if you've been hustling and building your career back home, that counts.
Absolutely. But it can't just be any job. It needs to fall under specific skilled occupations.
There are categories.
Yep. They use something called TIER,
Which stands for?
training, education, experience, and responsibilities.
It's basically a way to classify jobs based on skill level.
You got it. Doctors and engineers, for example, are in Tier 0, while skilled tradespeople might be in Tier 2 or 3.
And this program focuses on which ones?
Tier 0, 1, 2, and 3.
Got it. So, a solid foundation of professional experience is a must.
What else? Education.
What's the requirement there?
You'll need the equivalent of a Canadian bachelor's, master's, or PhD degree.
And for nurses.
There are some specific conditions for them, which we can get into later.
Sounds good. Now, remember how we talked about language skills being crucial?
Right.
How do you actually prove you're fluent in both English and French?
That's where language proficiency tests come in.
Like,
Well, for English, there's IELTS,
heard of that one?
and for French, there's TEF Canada.
Okay, so you've got the skills, the qualifications. What else do they look at?
Well, one key thing is showing you have enough money to support yourself and any family members who might be joining you.
When you first arrive in Ontario.
Exactly. They call this settlement funds.
Makes sense. You don't want to start your new life struggling financially.
Exactly. And just as important is demonstrating a genuine intention to reside in Ontario.
How do you prove that?
You can showcase ties to the province, maybe you have family there, or you've already worked or studied in Ontario.
So it's about showing that Ontario isn't just a temporary stop.
It's about showing you want to build your future there.
I like that. And lastly,
If you're already in Canada, you need to have legal status and maintain it throughout the process.
makes sense. No surprises there.
Yep.
All right, so those are the big picture requirements. Work experience, education, language skills, proof of funds, a genuine desire to be in Ontario, and legal status if you're already here in Canada.
Phew. Sounds like a lot, right?
It does. But don't worry, we'll break it down step by step.
We've got you covered.
So what's the first step in the actual application process?
You need a valid Express Entry profile.
Okay, so it all starts online.
Think of it as your online resume for Canadian immigration.
Got it. And then,
You need to receive a notification of interest from Ontario.
what's that exactly?
It's basically an invitation to apply to the OIMP, a sign that they like what they see in your profile.
I bet getting that email feels pretty awesome.
I'd say so.
So you get the invitation, then what?
Then you can officially apply online to the OIMP.
And if they love your application, what's the next hurdle?
If you're nominated by Ontario, you then apply for permanent residence through IRCC.
So the final decision rests with them.
Exactly. They have the final say on granting permanent resident status.
It's a multi-step process, but it seems pretty straightforward so far.
It is. And we'll dig into some interesting details within these steps in just a bit.
Because I'm sure there are some nuances our listeners need to know about.
Oh, there are. For example, did you know that you don't actually need a job offer to apply?
Seriously.
That's amazing.
It's about attracting talented individuals who have the potential to succeed, even if they haven't secured a job yet.
That's a big takeaway. What other interesting tidbits should our listeners keep in mind?
Well, let's revisit that continuous work experience requirement.
Okay.
You can have held different jobs, but significant gaps in your employment history over that one-year period could raise a red flag.
It's not just about having one single job for years straight.
It's about showing consistent work ethic and a clear career trajectory. Got it. And for those with education outside of Canada, what about that Educational Credential Assessment Report?
Ah, yes, the ECA report. It's crucial.
That's the one that confirms your degree is equivalent to a Canadian one, right?
Exactly.
Important stuff.
And remember, it can't be older than 5 years when you submit your application.
Got it. So everything needs to be up to date.
You bet. Now, about those language tests, are there specific ones you have to take?
I was wondering about that.
For English, you can choose from IELTS General Training, CELPIP General, or the PTE Core Test.
And for French,
You can go with TEF Canada or TCF Canada.
some flexibility there.
Make sure the test date is within 2 years of your application, though.
So recent language skills are key.
Absolutely. Now, last but not least, those settlement funds.
Right. What if someone has a large one-time deposit in their bank account? Would that be a problem?
It's best to be prepared to provide extra documentation in that case.
Transparency is key.
Always. It helps ensure the funds are legitimate and debt-free, giving the immigration officers a clear picture.
Great point. Honesty is the best policy throughout this entire process.
Couldn't agree more. And remember, even though these requirements might seem a bit daunting, don't get discouraged.
With careful planning and preparation, it's totally achievable.
Absolutely.
I love that positive attitude. It's all about taking things one step at a time.
Exactly. And that's what makes this program so special. You know, it really empowers individuals like you, young, ambitious, and bilingual.
Right. We know a lot of African countries have French as an official language.
And this program, it turns that skill into a major advantage.
A golden ticket, almost.
Exactly. It's incredible how Ontario has recognized this global talent pool.
They see the potential and drive that so many young Africans have.
And it's not just about filling job vacancies, it's about recognizing the value newcomers bring to the province.
Their culture, their perspectives.
It all adds to the richness and vibrancy of Canadian society.
It's about building a better future together.
Now, let's be honest, the application process can seem a little overwhelming,
All those forms and requirements,
but it's designed to be fair and transparent.
it ensures that those who are selected are truly committed to Ontario's future.
They're not just looking for skilled workers, they're looking for people who are ready to build a life there.
It's about finding that perfect match, the right people for the right place.
And it's not just about the professional side of things either.
Right. There's personal growth, too.
Think about the experience of immersing yourself in a new culture.
Meeting new people, trying new things.
It's a chance to really discover yourself.
Canada, especially Ontario, is known for being so welcoming and inclusive.
It's a place where diversity is celebrated and newcomers are embraced.
It's like a fresh start, a new chapter filled with possibilities.
And for young Africans seeking a place to build a future with endless opportunities.
Ontario is pretty hard to beat.
It really is an inspiring thought, you know? Having the courage to chase your dreams, to step outside your comfort zone.
And to embrace the adventure of a lifetime.
Every success story begins with that first step.
Taking that leap of faith and seeking out new opportunities.
And that's what we're here to help with, providing you with the information and resources you need to make informed decisions.
Okay, so we've talked about the benefits, the requirements, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
The practical stuff.
What are some things our listeners should pay close attention to when preparing their applications?
One crucial thing is making sure your work experience aligns with those eligible tier categories.
We talked about those earlier.
Do your research, make sure your job duties and responsibilities match those required skill levels.
It's not enough to just say, I worked as an engineer.
You need to really showcase the specific tasks and skills you've developed.
Got it. And what about documentation?
Gather everything early on. Educational transcripts, language test scores, proof of funds, police certificates, the works.
Being organized is key.
It saves you so much stress in the long run.
And those language tests. We know prep is crucial, but any other advice?
Those tests cover listening, reading, writing, and speaking, so give yourself plenty of time to study and practice.
Wouldn't it be great if there was a resource that could help with all of this? A guide, a mentor, someone who's been through it all.
You're reading my mind. That's where organizations like Immigration Bridging Academy really shine.
They're experts in guiding individuals through these immigration pathways.
They're like your personal cheerleaders and navigators. They're every step of the way.
Their website is a goldmine of information on this program and other Canadian immigration options.
And they even offer free consultations to help you get started on the right foot.
It's like having a trusted friend who's already walked the path and can offer valuable advice.
I love that analogy. Speaking of advice, what would you say is the most common mistake applicants make?
Something they should absolutely avoid.
Rushing the process. It's understandable to be eager.
But taking your time is so important.
You need to understand the requirements fully, gather all your documents, and present a well-crafted application.
Quality over speed.
100%. Rushing leads to mistakes, oversights, and ultimately a weaker application.
It's about putting your best foot forward and showcasing your true potential.
Absolutely. Another tip, don't underestimate the power of storytelling in your application.
Tell your story.
Share your journey, your aspirations, your reasons for choosing Ontario. Let your personality shine through.
Don't just tick boxes. Present yourself as a well-rounded individual with a compelling story to tell.
Exactly. And even if you don't have a job offer yet, showcase your efforts to connect with potential employers in Ontario.
Show initiative, right?
Attend virtual job fairs, network online, reach out to companies in your field.
It demonstrates your commitment to building a career there.
I know we've covered a lot. It can feel like a lot to process.
But our listeners don't have to go through this alone.
There are resources, there's support, and there are experts ready to guide you.
Like Immigration Bridging Academy?
Reach out to them. They offer personalized guidance, help with the documentation, expert advice tailored to your situation.
And those free consultations are a great starting point.
They can help you figure out if this pathway is the right fit for you.
Or if there's a different program that aligns better with your goals.
They're a fantastic resource. Don't hesitate to contact them.
All right, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's turn to our listeners.
What are your thoughts?
What questions do you have?
Share your comments and questions below. We'd love to hear from you.
Your feedback is so valuable. It helps us create content that's truly relevant and helpful.
And stay tuned for the final part of this deep dive,
where we'll be exploring some of the real-life challenges and rewards of immigrating to Canada.
We'll have inspiring stories, practical tips, and insights to help you on your journey.
So stick with us. There's much more to come. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been unpacking this awesome opportunity, the Ontario Express Entry French-speaking skilled worker stream.
We've covered the ins and outs, the requirements, the incredible potential.
But now let's get real for a sec.
You know, behind all the paperwork and procedures, there's a human story unfolding.
Right, it's not just a process, it's a journey.
A big one. And like any adventure, there will be bumps along the way.
Exactly. So let's talk about those challenges, and more importantly, the rewards waiting on the other side.
Okay, so first things first, adapting to a new culture. It's a biggie.
Even though Canada is super multicultural, it's still a different world.
You'll encounter different customs, social norms, even those subtle cues in everyday interactions.
It's almost like learning a whole new language, even if you're already fluent in English and French.
I like that analogy. And for many people, leaving behind family and friends back home, that's tough.
It's that bittersweet feeling of excitement for the new and missing the comfort of the familiar.
You've got it. And then there are those practical things to figure out. Housing, healthcare, setting up bank accounts.
Oh, and navigating the Canadian workplace.
All while adjusting to a new environment, it can be overwhelming.
So how do people manage? What's the key?
Realistic expectations. This program is designed to help you succeed, but it's not magic.
It takes work, resilience.
And a little bit of a sense of humor to get through those early days.
So it's not always easy, but the rewards are worth it.
Absolutely. Think about it. building a life in a country known for stability, safety, and that famous Canadian niceness,
That peace of mind is priceless.
and access to quality education and healthcare, those are game changers.
They're fundamental rights in Canada, not privileges.
It makes a huge difference in people's lives.
Plus, there's the natural beauty of Canada. The landscapes are breathtaking.
From coast to coast, it's stunning.
So it's more than just building a career. It's about building a fulfilling life.
Exactly. And let's not forget the career opportunities. Canada's economy is thriving,
And Ontario,
right?
it's a hub for so many industries. Tech, finance, healthcare.
For skilled professionals, there's a ton of potential.
It's not just about finding any job. It's about finding a career path that lights you up.
And for those who embrace the Canadian experience, there's the personal growth,
Broadened horizons, increased adaptability.
a global perspective that enriches your life in so many ways.
It's about becoming a citizen of the world while still finding a place to call home.
And that brings us to integration.
It's not just about adapting. It's about actively participating in Canadian society,
It's a two-way street.
contributing your unique skills, and embracing the values and traditions.
Exactly. Creating a sense of shared identity and belonging while celebrating diversity,
It's about more than just living in Canada. It's about becoming Canadian.
while still honoring your heritage, of course.
And that's what makes this pathway so powerful for young Africans. It's a chance to build a new life,
To contribute to a society that values inclusion and opportunity.
to create a brighter future for yourself and your family.
And if you're feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed, remember, Immigration Bridging Academy is there to help.
Their free consultations are a great starting point. You can get personalized advice, answers to your questions.
They'll help you figure out if this is the right path for you.
You can find the link to their website in the description below.
It's all about taking that first step and reaching out for support.
This has been such an insightful deep dive into this program, a program that opens doors, creates possibilities, and offers a pathway to a brighter future.
And for those who are ready to embark on this adventure, Canada welcomes you.
Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We hope this episode has sparked your imagination and encouraged you to explore the possibilities.
Keep dreaming big.
And keep striving for those greener pastures.
Until next time.
Take care.